want to overload that midfield, so watch for St. Louis to drop 2 from the wings back to create a 3-5-2 shape, to create a lot of danger on the overlapping runs. They inverted him, so to speak. He's going to play at the center back spot. It's St. Louis in the navy, Houston Dynamo in the orange. And there's the opening whistle. That ball's moving here in St. Louis, Missouri, and we are officially underway. Third and final matchup of the year between Houston Dynamo and St. Louis City. Just about 24 hours removed from these teams meeting in MLS play. It was a 2-1 win for St. Louis City SC at that first team level as it's thumped out of play. And Dynamo Dos will have the throw back in. Of note in that contest for St. Louis and manager Jan Dame, Riley Lynch getting signed to a short-term agreement. Did not come on in that contest. Lynch will throw it back in here, the former San Jose Earthquakes 2-man. But his first short-term call-up of the campaign, Palmer Alt did see some time. Alt previously spending the lion's share of his time this season with St. Louis City 2 before getting signed to a first-team contract earlier here in the summer. Logan Erb will move it forward over to Vinicius Silva. To pretty well. Said, we got ourselves into good areas, but they allowed some big chances. Didn't like that they struggled in their press. Said they didn't press as well as they could have. Biggest message on the quick turnaround for his team as they work it to Austin Brummett. He harped on his team's structure defensively following that contest. And you go back a few weeks as Dynamo Dos will have the throw in, courtesy of Samir Muhammad. He did say that is one of the evolutions he would like to see from this Dynamo Dos side going into the postseason. They've conceded a couple chances. This one from distance, punched away by Welsh. The rebound fell in front, not cleared yet by St. Louis, and the pressure kept on here by the visitors. Here's Doman, the captain. Muhammad works it back over to Gustavo Doman, who steps up. DiMorelli, who has a goal to his credit against St. Louis across 2 prior matchups this season. Nifty interchange of play, courtesy of Bell. Running on a post, the cutback in front, slid away by St. Louis. Clearance intercepted though, worked along, it's DiMorelli! Stopped by Welsh. A flurry of opportunities early on for Houston Dynamo Dos. 2 bites of the apple right at Colin Welsh, the Kansas native, able to make 2 important saves early on. Welsh and Lucas McPartland had split time throughout the early junctures of the season in goal. But with Lucas McPartland first heading off to the CONCACAF U20 Championships and then turning around and heading off to college up the road at St. Louis University as Knight Pickering will lead the charge. It's been Welsh getting the lion's share of the first keeper minutes. Here is Zenge's shot blocked. Clipped back along by City 2. Headed down into the path of Muhammad. Poked away though by Zach Zenge. 58th overall pick in the Super Draft by Columbus Crew, was acquired in July via the loan. Vinicius Silva guides this back over to Logan Erb, and here is Chibike Ukebu, a highly touted acquisition earlier in the week on the full transfer from the Sacramento Republic USL Championship side. 49 career appearances for the 19-year-old. Turnover in a bad spot. Keeper off his line. It's Rodin! And Houston Dynamo strike first. 1-0. He had a goal in May against City 2, and now in August bags his second. Austin Brummett grabs goal number 10, and Dynamo a dream start on the road. Down. We come up on the half-hour mark elapsed here in St. Louis, Missouri. Still one goal separating these sides. Austin Brummett in the 17th minute. Former UConn Husky. Spent some time at San Diego State as well. Back the other way comes Dynamo Dos. Another midfield turnover from St. Louis. Doman, Barrett. Inside, it's Muhammad looking for a Rana. That ball leaks free. And out comes Colin Welsh to sprawl on top of it. Worked along to Zingay, who leaves it off. Clancy finds Wagner on the half turn. Intercepted, though. Here's Silva. Vinicius Silva leading the charge in. Trying to cut this ball back. Got tight along that end line again. And it finds its way to the feet of Trip Clancy III. Pressure here, collapsing in on St. Louis. Takes a ricochet off the feet of DiMorelli, who picks it up. DiMorelli has a go! Parried out of play by Colin Welsh. A corner won by Houston. Logan Erb laying into his team at the end of it, though. Just casual along the back. The only thing that is different is St. Louis did grab a goal in the 29th minute before Houston Dynamo equalized 9 minutes later. But you look, in that first half, St. Louis, they controlled the total possession with the 60%, and that may loss. Majority of their passes completed in their own half of things, but still more passes completed in the opposition half than Houston Dynamo in that one. And you compare that to today, about the same story. But St. Louis, despite all that possession, will go into the locker room trailing Houston Dynamo, who lead 1-0 at the halftime whistle. CITY2 held without a shot on target in the opening 45. The whistle sounds, and we are back underway for the second half here in St. Louis. Back in. Here's the aforementioned Brummett batting that ball down, and that is where Zach Lillington will take over possession. 17 goal involvements in his collegiate career across 68 appearances at UC Davis. Lillington trying to work it forward, catching the chest of Tyson Pierce. Couldn't control it, though. And here is Matthew Arana looking to poke that ball free. On the move now, Dynamo Dos countering. Lillington goes sliding down, not clear. Here's Arana toying with it. Still Arana turning. That was a trend that developed in the opening 45. St. Louis had a couple of giveaways in their own defensive half. That created some real strain for their back line. Able to come away unscathed that time. In the half space, here's DiMorelli. Arana forcing his way in. This from distance, right at Welsh. Sees it in all the way. Muhammad, he's such a shifty, crafty player. Welsh trying to roll it out over to Chris Pearson, who was the only change made to start this second half by David Critchley. Vinicius Silva has shifted back to that left back spot with Reese Miller coming off. There's a player down in Trip Clancy for St. Louis right at that halfway line. Play will continue on for the moment. Arana leading the counter in. Arana dodging two. Here's DiMorelli has a go and sails it wide. Matteo DiMorelli and Houston Dynamo. Counter has been the word of the day for the visitors. Perez stands tall over this. Perez to the back post, takes a deflection, hammered in! It falls to Knight Pickering, right place, right time. His third goal in the last two matches, and St. Louis have life, 2-1. A well-weighted ball from Miguel Perez, dropping this right in. Zingue drops it in toward goal, and Erb will make the grab around a lot of traffic. Jorgensen gets the recycle going, and it works its way over to Chris Pearson. Centrally, left off, McDonald steps past one. Hang on to it, wins it back though. On the turn, slip through. Here's Zach Zingue in front, deflected out by Erb. It's another corner for St. Louis. Zach Zingue coming over from Columbus on the loan a few weeks. He's a focal point of the offense. They give him the freedom and the fluidity to move where he sees fit. As Houston Dynamo Dos will make their fifth and final change. D'Alessandro Herrera, the former Houston Christian midfielder, will come on. Arana comes off. It'll be Zingue to take once again. Zingue swings this in, punched away, rebound, headed in! Jack Lillington on the doorstep, puts this contest on level terms. Shootouts as a reminder in MLS Next Pro. Should we be level at the end of regulation, we will go straight to a penalty shootout. Lofted along, glanced out wide. Here's Barkley! That was City's chance, and Jamon Barkley's reaction says he knew it. Logan Erb won't even get a kickoff. That will be the end of regulation in St. Louis, Missouri. And that means penalties on the other side. In the last six that they have dropped points, as Zach Lillington will start things out here for St. Louis in this penalty shootout. Lillington's take, tucks it in, near side on Logan Erb. Doman facing off with Colin Welsh. Gustavo Doman stopped by Welsh at full stretch. How about this from the 23-year-old? Using every bit of that 6'2" frame, getting both. Trying to make it 2 for 2 for St. Louis. Pearson stutters, stops, and goes off the woodwork and out. Tried the stutter. 5 goals this season for the 18-year-old. Bell runs up, hesitates, tries to clip it toward goal. It's in. A savvy move. Here is Miguel Perez, the homegrown. Perez stopped by Erb. Back-to-back misses for CITY2. This time, Logan Erb stonewalling Miguel Perez. Muhammad runs up, skips it toward goal, and beats Colin Welsh. Same can be said for Zach Zingue. At one time in MLS Next Pro play, the Golden Boot leader, 12 goals this year. Zingue stopped again! Back-to-back saves for Logan Erb. Souza, the casual run-up, slots it in! That'll do it! Houston Dynamo Dos fights off a furious rally from St. Louis and takes the extra point. And Houston Dynamo Dos will take 2 points in tow back to Texas.